When you have an over-reliance on one particular aspect of dating, you will notice that you'll actually struggle and be worse off than being an all-rounder and having multiple things going your way. So for example, if you have a shit ton of money, but you haven't spent any time in your life developing social skills or understanding the art of seduction or having a level of confidence and charisma, then you'll realize that you're actually going to struggle to get laid. Because this company that you sold, that you spent so long actually building, and during that time you did nothing else but build that company, because of course it's very difficult to build a company and to sell out for huge sums of money, so you have to focus on that. You can't exactly be dating every night while you're building a multi-million pound company. So therefore you'll realize that once you've sold that company, you're probably a little bit rusty on the dating scene. Just got to look over my eyes here in London, because if someone rides past me on a bike and snatches my phone, it seems all too common these days. So I'm just going to have to keep my eyes around over my shoulder as I walk down the river here. As you can see, that's the city of London there you can see that's the new city, and then the new city over there, Canary Wharf. That's Canary Wharf there, that's the new city, and the old city is just there in Moorgate where I started my career. I've just come back here to London to just for Easter, and then I take myself back to Bucharest tomorrow. But back to the matter at hand. The key is, if you want to get laid, if you want to be good with women, you have to be an all-rounder, right? So you have to have good social skills, you have to have a level of confidence, you have to have a decent job. You can't just be extremely skilled in one aspect, which is like, oh, he's an amazing seducer. He's going to get laid because he's an amazing seducer. That's not enough. Because amazing seduction guys, yes, they probably will get laid, but they won't be able to maintain those sorts of women, right? And rich guys are having a seriously hard time getting laid. And I would know, after spending a shit ton of time in Dubai and in Miami, these rich guys are ending up having to pay to get laid. Can you believe it? That is the state of affairs. That is absolutely disgusting. Imagine you have to pay a prostitute to get laid because you realize, wait a minute, having money simply isn't enough. You know, I thought that after I'd started my business, after I'd made my money, I wouldn't need to worry about getting laid. It should be easy, right? It should be easy from here on in. I've already made it. I've made my money. They're going to love me because I'm rich. Surely. Surely that's the case. Not true at all, my friends. Many of the wealthy older guys that I hang out with in Miami, my friends with $20 million mansions, they're actually struggling to get laid. They really are. They're very much struggling to get laid because they thought that that's all they needed. They thought that their money would get them out of jail. And they'd be like, here you go, I've got money. These girls will sleep with me now. I'll just buy them a bunch of shit and buy them a bunch of dinners. What they're struggling with is they'll go out and pay for these dinners. Then they'll go out and then some young, hotshot, seductive guy who understands how the game works, who's got confidence, who's got charisma like myself, will roll up, take the number, and end up sleeping with her that night or another night. Now, I've done that many a times to people in Miami, to some of my older friends who've brought women out and they were hitting on them most of the night and they thought that their money would be the answer. And they'd be like, oh, they're paying for dinner so they'll get laid. But then the young guy comes in, he understands seduction, he understands confidence and charisma, he understands how to meet a girl kind of emotionally and tap her up emotionally, which gets her all excited, and then she ends up sleeping with that guy. Right? So rich guys are actually struggling to get laid, and they think that it's easy just because they're rich, they're going to get laid. That's not true at all. Right? The guys that I know who get laid the most are actually the all-rounders, right? The ones who are focused on their body, the ones who are focused on their job, the ones who are focused on understanding how to be better socially, the ones who are more socially intelligent and more emotionally intelligent. Right, those guys, they're all-rounders. Imagine, he looks after himself, he's got a decent job, he trains, he works hard, but he also understands how to be emotive and how to talk to a woman, and how to make her feel good, and, how to give her what she wants, how to be seductive. That guy ends up getting laid way more than the rich guy gets laid, right? Way more. Because the rich guy ends up just purely relying on his money, thinking that his money will get him laid, which is actually not the case whatsoever. Obviously, it's helpful to be young and handsome and tanned and famous. Of course, we know that fame gets laid heavily. By the way, it's definitely fame over money, right? If you've been on Love Island, you've got way more chance of getting laid numerous times than someone who's just sold his company for 20 mil. right? That's just the way it actually works. Okay, fame really does get laid. So if you've got any level of fame, you'll realize how easy it is to get laid. You literally don't have to do anything. You walk into a room and everyone is staring at you and like, oh my God, he's on TV. Oh my God, he's that influencer. Oh my God, he's that YouTuber. He's this, he's that. And you'll get laid so much easier. So actually, if you want to get laid, seek fame. Don't seek fortune. But that isn't the way that I would want to operate, right? I would recommend that you seek fortune, that you seek general growth as a man, right? Generally improving as a man on multiple levels. Understanding how to be confident, how to be seductive, how to be emotionally intelligent, how to be charismatic, how to approach any sort of environment, right? How to play the game in a sense, right? Not be Mr. Nice Guy the whole time. Actually understand back and forth, understanding text game. This shit takes a lot of time. It's exhausting. And I completely understand why you're probably sitting there saying, this sounds like a hell of a lot of work, Ralph. How do I just get there? How do you just give me the shortcut? Well, there are certain things I could say and do that would give you the shortcuts, but there isn't a direct one way to do things, okay? I can talk you through one-on-one consultancies and working with you guys how to get laid the fast way rather than having to actually make all the money and read all the books. There is a fast track way of doing things. There are tips and tricks that I have used in my career and in my dating life which have definitely sped up my results. Rather than, oh, I'm not going to approach any women until I'm rich. Please, that's the biggest load of bullshit. If you're waiting to become wealthy or make a certain amount of money or be a certain percentage body weight, you're going to be very disappointed once you have those things